Welcome to the shop. Today, we're going to be tackling this fender. We're going to remove all the accessories on the fender, strip it down, and get it ready for paint. I went out, I found some stuff called Rust Dissolver. I'm going to try this on the inside of the chrome pieces for the headlight and see if I can get this rust out of here. It's my first time trying something like this. I got no experience with this stuff, so we'll see how good it works. Think of it as a review. All right, let's get started. Now, according to the direction, it says to apply this and let it sit for 20 minutes. It doesn't say to shake it up, but I'm gonna shake it up just to make sure it's good to go. All right, gloves are on. Open this up. I'm going to use a little cheap paintbrush that I picked up for like $2 to apply this chemical. Now this one ain't bad. The trim ring on the headlight is not bad at all. It just has a little bit here and here, and I just want to hit that up before it gets worse. So we'll go ahead and apply that. I'm just going to apply it liberally right over all that stuff. And anywhere that I might see some rust coming up. Now this side here's got some. Get it up in there. If the stuff has some type of odor, I would recommend that you have some kind of ventilation. Oh, this thing's got quite a bit of rust in here, so let's go ahead and apply this. So according to the directions, we need to rinse this off after 20 minutes. If it's heavily rusted, they say to wait even longer. So we'll just leave that, let that sit while we work on the fender. Now, to remove the fender light, this connector on the wire has to be removed. We're going to pop this little back section up and open. We're going to go into that connector to here with my little pick. Try to hit that tab and get it out of there. There we go. That's 1 and 2. The grommet here is pretty much trashed. I'm gonna have to try to get a new grommet. Now you feed the wire through. 1 pin at a time goes through this hole, then the other pin. All right, flip this over, and this wire has clips holding it in place. That last clip is actually pressed down, so we're just gonna gently pick it back up, just enough to get that wire out. I don't want to break that clip. Next, we are going to remove the bumper. So I made a bit of a mistake. I took these two off. Looks like all you need to do is take the top nut off, and that bracket comes off with the bumper. So next we're going to take off this piece here, the Ultra Classic chrome piece. You have 3 clips to remove that piece. 1, 2, 3. We're just going to take a screwdriver and pop those clips out. Same thing for this side. So one of the clips that holds the wire came off. I'm just going to quickly clean this area up. gonna clean up the clip. I'm gonna go ahead and just glue this clip back in place so I don't forget where it goes. I'll forget to put it back in. And that way, it'll be ready to go when it's time to put all this back in. There we go. Now we can take these out. And they just pop right out. All right, so those are out. Now we got to take off the chrome trim. And to do that, there's actually some nuts inside the fender. We're going to remove those. Flip this around. Same on the opposite side. You got 1, 2. Careful taking this piece out because the wire is connected in there. It's going to come off as one. This cover for the fender light has to come off. You're going to take your screwdriver, stick it in this little section here, and try to pop it off without breaking it. There we go. Now we're going to hold the nuts from the back side and just unscrew those bolts. And then that comes out. Put these together. Now this whole assembly should pop off of here. Sliding the wire through the fender as we go. So on these long pieces here, you have these little studs that actually can slide in and out of there. We're going to disconnect the connector here just to get that apart and out of the way. Now if I'm going to paint this, I have to get this wire out of here. So we're just going to slide the wire out and that pin comes out with it. So the wire is now completely removed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and put it in my bag with all the fender stuff. So the only thing that's left is this piece here we got to take off. You got some really, really small bolts with nuts on the opposite side. Now we're down to the bare fender. Nothing on it, just the fender. So I am going to apply the Jasco paint remover. To apply this, I use a cheap bristle brush. I will be liberal with the paint remover. Now this is going to have to sit for about, I would say it's probably 20 minutes or so. Basically, when the paint starts to bubble, that's when it's ready to be removed. Protect yourself, make sure you wear gloves. Wherever you're working, have it ventilated or some kind of airflow. Stuff puts out some really bad fumes. Now on these, I was going to paint them black, but I think I'm just going to leave them chrome. I'm going to take the 5000 grit just to clean them up a little bit and kind of polish them. A lot of stuff in there like wax and crap that got into there. Now, this is some tedious work right here. You gotta have patience. Painting a bike like this is not an easy task. That's why they're so expensive to have painted by some professionals. Because just the work alone to take these apart and put back together is enormous. It's an enormous task. And a lot of people just don't have the patience for it. And I'm sure I'll get some comments in this video and every other video. Oh, that's so boring. I can't believe you made a video like that. But this is what it takes if you want the job to be done correctly. And you want it to look good. Attention to detail to every little thing. Look at that. That looks nice. 5000 sandpaper or sanding sponge is almost like a polishing sponge. It really is. And it gets everything off the chrome. Look at that. Looks good. All right. I'm going to take our 2 pieces and set them aside. All right, let's get to these pieces here. It says it removes rust, but I don't know. What do you think? Does that look like it's gone? I did sand these areas down as best as I could, and I'll probably sand them again. There's that other section right there. I'm gonna let that sit a little longer. That does not look like it's ready. So I already sanded these chrome pieces down with the orbital sander. Now I'm just gonna hit it up with the 320 just to make sure everything is pretty smooth. All right, that is good enough. Go ahead and set these aside for now. I already washed these pieces down, some warm water. You can see the rust is now black. I just hope that that chemical will be able to stop the rust from continuing any further. I will spray that in the future. We'll spray the inside and then we'll spray the outside. Now I'll put some gloves on and tackle this fender. Well, the paint remover does not work, so I'm hand sanding the whole fender down. It's gonna take me a while. I'm going really rough, 100 grit to get this paint off. Right, well, the fender is sanded. Got rid of all the green and all the coatings I put on, and it's down to its original paint now. And it's as smooth as it needs to be. I started out with 100 grit and worked my way up to 400 grit. I know it looks rough right now, but that's okay. It'll look better once it's painted. It's all smooth. I don't feel anything. So it should give me a good finish. Would I have liked to taken it down to bare metal? Yeah. But the one thing I'm working with here is an orbital sander. And those do not work great for taking paint off, especially in automotive type paint. So this is as far as I'm gonna go. It's been a long day. It's smooth enough. It'll look good once it's done, just like it did before. I'm going to clean up a little bit in here. Even with the fan going and the filter on the fan, there's a lot of dust, you know, that got all over the place. I'm sure by now you figured out I'm going to paint the bike. Else I wouldn't have stripped the fender down. I'm not looking forward to stripping the rest of this down. I am going to look into some different type of paint stripper. There's got to be something out there that'll strip automotive paint, 2K paint, whatever it's called. It has to be. Anyway, I'm beat. It's been a long day in the garage. I need to go get cleaned up. You all take care. God bless. And I'll catch you on the next one.